What's going on, guys? We're back. I swear, guys, I don't know why I have this hat on. I'm supposed to take it off. I am pumped, y'all. I'm excited. We are tuning in to the UFC 229 press conference. We're getting straight into it. It's 1:58. They're doing some pre-press conference stuff right now on the screen. But yeah, welcome in, guys. How's everyone doing today? Got 2 people in the chat already. Oh, yikes. Something happened with my stream. Oh, are we good? Yeah, we're good. All right. Whoa. Well, I'm excited. Josh, what's going on, man? Let's get right into this bad boy, man. So much that we have to talk about. So much that's going to happen today. We don't know. Now, okay, if you guys watched my last video, Dana White and Jon Jones and Daniel Cormier, pretty much all 3 shit on my idea of Daniel Cormier showing up today at the press conference and challenging Jon Jones, or Jon Jones challenging DC for the heavyweight title. So that's unfortunate, but we're okay. You know, we still have a couple of things that we want to watch out for with Conor and Khabib. Just the mindset of both guys, like what's going to happen in this mental warfare that both guys are going to have to play. Is Conor going to come out and do a lot of his usual stuff? Is he going to do a lot of his gift the gab, one-liners, all that stuff? Is Khabib going to take that defensive approach where he just doesn't kind of say anything and he's kind of just in him, figuring himself out and just kind of within himself and doesn't really come out and engage Conor? Or is he going to try to defend himself? Usually in either case, Conor is going to win the press conference, but the way Khabib wins this press conference is just basically to, in my opinion, stay within himself and, answer honestly and openly. And if Conor does say something that garners his attention or that causes a response, to be concise. Khabib is already, at a disadvantage not speaking English as his first language. So it's not smart for him to try to get into a back and forth with Conor, especially with verbiage. I know we're breaking down a press conference, but I'm so excited about the fight that I'm trying to break down everything I can, everything possible. So this will be interesting just to see kind of where both guys are at. Khabib was interviewed by TMZ earlier today. I think they said he said he was tired, obviously, going through the weight cut. We'll see where he's at with that. And you got to remember, Khabib's had some problems with his weight cut. I don't know if they have a backup plan. I know Kevin Lee wanted to be that backup plan. Tony Ferguson's on the card, so I'm assuming if one of the guys does fall out that Tony would take over. But, man, I'm excited. You guys have no idea how excited I am for not only this press conference, this fight. I have another video coming for you guys soon, too. Hopefully Sunday or Monday we'll have it up. And it's a little different, but I hope you guys like it. It'll be fun. It has to do with the fight, but it's not quite to do with the fight. But you guys will like it, I think. Oh, by the way, Kelsey, check out this new mug Kelsey got me, y'all. Obviously got the W.A.D.E concept. Got the W.A.D.E concept, Pretty cool deal. They're doing a promo for UFC 3, the video game. The only thing that I want to see from both guys, where they're at in their weight cut, how, by the way, let me know in the chat if you guys hear the TV, I'll turn it down. Where they're at with their weight cuts, who looks like, at this point, who is the more confident, or if there's any, both guys are going to be confident, obviously, but if there's any slight doubt or if there's any tells you can see from either guy that kind of give away, self-doubt or a weakness. These press conferences don't mean a lot, and I've never really bought into the fact that a press conference and a face-off means anything. But when Conor does it, it's a little different because it's part of his mental warfare, right? It's part of what he does leading up to the fight to expose the other person, to try to gauge where they're at and try to, just poke the bear and find little soft spots to play with leading up to the fight. So that's something that I want to look for. I think that that's going to be interesting between these two to see if Khabib has any sort of self-doubt in his game, if Conor has any sort of kind of that self-doubt after being off for too long, or just to see where their verbal sparring is, because Conor is going to come out and throw some shots. I just want to see how Khabib reacts. And I do think I know that I DC kind of shut down the whole Jon Jones DC fight November 3rd, but I do still think they bring Jon on stage if he's in New York. I don't know if he's in New York, but if he's in New York, I would assume it'd be cool for them to bring him on stage to announce him as being back in the UFC, maybe take some questions, even though they're not going to be fun questions. Like, everyone, of course, is going to ask him how he got by USADA. So I don't know. We'll see. We will see. This is the thing with and I'm going to keep going back to it. After the Mayweather fight, I bet McGregor's super confident. Josh, if I'm Conor McGregor, I would be astronomically confident. People forget that in that Mayweather fight, and I went back and watched it many times after the fight, Conor won rounds, and he didn't just win rounds. He was winning round after round after round. And a lot of people can say that Floyd was winning, or Conor was winning rounds because Floyd was letting him, right? Because Floyd was carrying him. Conor won late rounds. Conor won round 9 and was giving it back to Floyd, and he lasted 30 minutes and half an hour with the greatest boxer to ever live, and he was not only landing punches but winning rounds. So Conor can easily adapt to whatever sport, It's one of those things where I can't physically or I can't understand how he does it, and physically you can't replicate how he picks up on things so quickly, but he does. And it's one of those, he's an outlier, kind of like Jon Jones, and the fact that it doesn't make sense that he's this good and we still don't know how good he can be. And I'm not here to just, like I said, just be a Conor fanboy, because Khabib is the best grappler in the UFC, in my opinion. He's better than DC, in my opinion. He is better than Tyron Woodley, in my opinion. He would give Tyron Woodley real problems if he got inside and got a hold of him. This is how scary this guy is. And the only weakness you see is it's about that big, and it's just that much of an opening that he gives away. But the thing is, it's only that much that Conor needs, right? As a standing fighter, if you give him any room to land the left, he will land the left, and he's shown us over and over and over. So it's just an interesting fight because we don't know how good. I think we know kind of where Khabib's skill level is and how good he is, but we have no idea how good Conor is. That's kind of the gift and the curse of him being off for 2 years, is that we don't know how much he's actually worked. We don't know how much he's actually improved. So it's going to be interesting once he gets in the cage. Once that first shot comes, that first low single from Khabib, once that shot comes, what does Conor do? Can he defend? Can he? And I watched, I don't know, it was a breakdown of the Ali Aquenta fight and Khabib fight. The Ali Aquenta and Khabib fight, excuse me. And it showed how Ali Aquenta had goated Khabib into a fist fight. Conor's not going to be able to do that. Khabib has no intention of going in there and striking with Conor. I think John Kavanaugh said in an interview yesterday he wouldn't be surprised if Khabib shot straight out of the locker room. Coming from the locker room with shots. Like, he's going to shoot for takedowns probably every chance he gets. And his pace is unbelievable, so he can do that. It's going to be like Miesha Tate versus Holly. But Conor has pop. Holm didn't. It'll be tough because the difference with the Miesha Tate and the Holly Holm fight, yes, was power from Holly Holm, because Holly Holm caught her the entire fight and then got wrapped up in the last 2 minutes. I don't think if it goes the distance like that, it will be something where where Holly Holm where Conor just makes a mistake and Khabib submits him. I think if it goes to that fifth and final round, it'll be, and as much as people don't like to talk about this, we'll have to see what the cardio issues will be for either guy. Can Conor stay with the pace of Khabib just over and over and over, shooting for takedowns and grappling and throwing and mounting and doing all these things? Or will Khabib tire from attempting takedowns and missing? Will Conor be able to defend and tire Khabib out and then come forward with the left hand? It's an interesting fight, man. I'm not going to give my picks until literally, we'll do what's the October 6th is 2 weeks? 2 weeks and a couple days. We will do the picks Thursday night probably before the fight. I think that, we'll do picks Thursday night before that Saturday's fight. Because I don't want to do Friday, because Friday we got to go right back on stream the next day. But we'll do Thursday. I think that gives us enough time to get in. They're showing the bus incident, obviously. You guys, if you didn't watch my my Car Convos video, episode number 2, which it's up right now, go check it out. You guys gotta go watch that one, because I explained kind of what my thought process was behind how personal this fight has become between these two guys. Conor obviously taking it very personal that someone's taken his belt away. And as much as, these material things like his money, cars, all this stuff means a lot, at his root, Conor is a cage fighter, and he has a legacy that he has built on being, in his opinion, the best at every weight class he's gone to, right? And so he's always considered himself champion. Even when they stripped him the first time of the 145, he called himself the double champ. I won't be surprised if he comes into the press conference today, brings his 2 belts from home, and calls himself the double champ. I wouldn't be surprised if we did that at all. But I think that Conor he's made it personal in that way. It's personal for him in that way, but Conor's made it personal with Khabib, right? He's gone after him. He's thrown dollies at the bus. He's gone after his father on Instagram and social media. And so I think that this is Conor's, while he's not doing a lot of press, and he's, explicitly stated he's not going to do press other than this event. He's using his social media grab, his following to really kind of reach out and touch Khabib where it hurts. And his father, he's talking about all his training partners and how Dagestanis can't hang with the Irish. He's making it very, very close to home for Khabib. So I want to see if that comes out in this press conference today too. We'll see. It says the event will start shortly. We'll see. We all know who wins this press conference. Yeah, Conor will probably win this press conference. Dana had to book something where yes, it is for fight hype, and Dana had to book something where he had Conor talking, because that's going to build hype, and it's going to bring in these estimated 2.5 million pay-per-view buys. But at the same time, it's a win for Khabib if he just, if he doesn't let Conor destroy him, if he doesn't give Conor the ammo to verbally destroy him like RDA did, because RDA was, quintessential champion, doing it for his family, for his country, had all the right values, and Conor walked into their press conference dressed like, in his words, El Chapo, and absolutely destroyed him. So it might not matter what Khabib does. It might not even matter that Khabib is even there. Conor in himself is just a walking press conference, and will do exactly whatever he wants to do. I said this on Twitter, and Kelsey's going to get mad because I kind of used something she said. By the way, Kelsey says, pick wisely. Kels, I'm going to destroy you. This is my card. This is what I've been waiting for the last year. I've done mathematical equations in my head over and over to pick the correct winner of every fight on this card. I've been waiting, all right? You have no chance. But with that being said, Kelsey told me, we were talking the other night, and she goes, what if Conor comes in to the press conference dressed in one of the Dagestani head garbs, the little headgear that Khabib wears? Not that that'd be hilarious. Either that, or he finds a way to get some kind of eagle feathers, into his suit, and just flaps them like wings. Wouldn't that be something? Or he just is lowered from the ceiling, calls himself the Eagle, drops the mic, and walks off stage. I have no idea what's about to happen, man. I have no idea. I better not be getting delays on my end. I'm going to get pissed if they haven't started. And you guys know how these press conferences work, with Conor McGregor especially. Conor is going to be late. We're on time because you never know, but Conor is always late to these things. So we could be sitting here for 30 minutes. We could be sitting here for 2 hours. I have no idea. I have work at 5, and if they're not done by the time I have to go to work, I'm going to be really upset. But we'll see. Who do you guys in the chat, man? What do you guys think the key matchups are to the fight? I've kind of laid out what I think, but I kind of want to know what you guys think. What are we thinking is something that's going to be a huge factor in this thing? Is it, because I don't think it's as simple as Khabib shooting single legs and Conor defending. How does Conor fight off his back? Has he gotten any better off of his back? And I don't necessarily mean getting up off of his back. I mean, has Conor gotten any better in his jiu-jitsu, off of his back, can he attack? Because we showed in the Chad Mendes fight he had some nasty elbows from the bottom, and I want to see if he still is trying to employ those. Ah, Tammy's in the chat. She says she's a Conor fan. So am I. But look, I'm also a Khabib fan too. It's not me, again, just completely just going biased Conor. Yes, I'm a huge Conor McGregor fan. I like his fighting style. I like his outlook on life. I like the way his confidence just exudes out of him because he has no self-doubt, or perceived to have no self-doubt. And if he wants something, he goes for it. Those are things and qualities I feel like a lot of people, especially, including myself, can learn from. He's got a controlled distance, stay standing. Yeah, I mean, put simply, it's really easy to go, yeah, well, Conor has to stay on his feet. The problem that you have, and I heard John Cavanaugh talking about this. The problem is that what happens when your plan doesn't go to fruition? What happens if Khabib does get Conor to the ground? Can you adjust? Can you fix your game plan to effectively change to what's happening in front of you, right? The best can do it. Floyd did it against Conor. Floyd had come out very, defensive and Floyd-esque with his boxing, and then switched and became the aggressor in their boxing match. Conor has shown that sometimes when things don't go his way, Chad Mendes took him down and held him down a couple of times. He found a way to get back to his feet. This is the question I have for Khabib. Khabib is 26-0. It's not just a 26-0. That's a 26-0 record in which he's never lost a round. Khabib Nurmagomedov has never officially lost a round in any competition in mixed martial arts. So what happens when you don't succeed? When you don't win the round? When failure sets in, at least at the smallest point, does it cause him to crack? Does it cause Conor to start to take over the fight and gain momentum because Khabib has never felt failure, has never felt, I don't want to say felt failure, but has never felt a loss in the octagon, has never lost a round, never lost a grappling match, never lost a MMA bout. So if he loses that round, if Conor does wobble him and he stays in it, but he lost the round and Conor's knocked him down a couple of times, how does Khabib adjust? Can he knock the cobwebs off and will the single legs add up? Those are things that I don't know yet. And I think it's super interesting to watch because when you see someone that is constantly succeeding, same thing we said with Conor when he came into the UFC and was walking through everyone. And then Nate choked him to death. You had to see him adjust. And what did he do? He came back, same weight class, went 5 rounds, and beat Nate Diaz. Khabib hasn't gone through that yet. In fact, Khabib, again, this isn't me a roasting session because Conor has skipped the line at 155 too. Conor fought nobody in the UFC at 155 before he fought Eddie Alvarez. While it was always his plan and possibly the UFC's, he didn't go through the ranks at 155 to get that title. Understand it. But for people that are saying Khabib is the gatekeeper of that division, yes, he's won a lot of fights in that division, but a lot of them are outside of the top 10 and 15. As far as top 10 fighters that he's beaten, it would be Edson Barboza would be the only one. Al Iaquinta was not in the top 10. Rafael dos Anjos at the time they fought was not in the top 10. Khabib has not beaten a top 5 opponent. Even in his championship fight, he has not beaten a top 5 opponent. So that's you're taking away Tony Ferguson, not his fault. Tony Ferguson hasn't fought. Kevin Lee hasn't fought. Conor McGregor gonna fight. But the level of competition that is in that lightweight division, Khabib has faced some of it, but not the top of the top. So we will see how the big fight feels to Khabib, because he's been in a main event, but has he been in a main event in front of a sold-out crowd, in front of 2.2 million or 2.5 million or whatever it is, against possibly the biggest star, a guy that fights with immense control of himself under pressure? Has he fought in that situation before? No. So I don't know how he handles that. Let Khabib walk into straight punches. Khabib is made for McGregor. You could say 100%. You could say both these guys were made for each other. Because Conor is more of, I don't want to say a complete stand-up fighter, but he is predominantly a masterful stand-up fighter. Khabib, a masterful grappler. If I were to look at their weaknesses and whose weaknesses were greater, or who could expand on each other's weaknesses greater, it's tough, because I do think Khabib can expand on Conor's weaknesses a lot easier and a lot quicker than Conor can with Khabib. I think it takes Conor a little bit to find, not in general, but I think in this fight it will take Conor a little bit to find that range and find Khabib's chin. Not impossible, definitely can happen, but I think it's Khabib, if he gets a hold, if he finds a way to clasp his hands, you're not getting up for the rest of the round. Unless Conor is going to do something that we haven't seen Edson Barboza do, that we didn't see Rafael dos Anjos do. If he does those things, then okay. And if he can find a way to goad Khabib into standing up, which sometimes all it takes is one shot to a guy, to the chin, to hurt a guy's pride and make him want to stand up and swing on you. Happened to Eddie Alvarez. Eddie Alvarez completely abandoned his game plan once Conor caught him with the left hand. You can go back and watch the fight. It wasn't because, a lot of people are saying, I think it was because because Eddie was dazed. Probably a little bit. I mean, obviously it dropped him. But I think when guys get clipped on the chin like that, and you got a guy standing there in front of you, just puts you down, that hurts your pride a little bit, and you want to get one back, especially at the top of the division. Anytime you walk into one, you want to get one right back. Khabib might walk into a shot, but if he gets McGregor down, it's game over. That's the ultimate debate. If he does get Conor down, will Conor be able to survive? Will Conor be able to, because Khabib isn't really known for finishing guys, right? And Jon Jones just talked about this in an interview in Russia, where he was saying Khabib is such a black belt grappler, is a black belt wrestler. If he added jiu-jitsu to his sambo and to his freestyle, he would be so hard to, he's already a freak, but he would be almost impossible to beat. And obviously the Dagestanis don't particularly like a lot of jiu-jitsu training. If you guys have seen, Khabib's worn shirts that say sambo would be called jiu-jitsu if it was easy. So he has his own opinions about it, but Khabib doesn't finish a lot of guys. Yeah, he wails on him, and it's domination, and he gets to a decision, but he doesn't particularly finish there. So it will be, and Khabib's come out and said he wants to make Conor suffer, change his face, all that just rings to me as emotion. I think that Conor is poking him and starting to reveal a little bit more, because people think that Khabib is just like every other Russian fighter we've ever seen, and we compare a lot of our Russian fighters in the UFC to the greats of all time, like Fedor Emelianenko, who very religious guy, barely talks at all. Ultimate figure of respect and being humble. And we look at Khabib, and while he does possess the same traits, humble, respectful of most fighters, the guy likes to talk trash. Like, Khabib is a trash-talking machine. And now that he's learning English and understanding the language a lot better, he doesn't shut up. If he's in the cage, he's talking to everyone. He talked to Al Iaquinta, which they're showing the highlight right now. He talked to Michael Thompson. He talked to Edson Barboza. He talked to every single one of these guys. Or Michael Johnson, excuse me. He talked to every one of them while they were fighting. Him and Conor have gotten into trash talk exchanges before backstage. The guy is, he does have personality, and I think that reveals more for Conor to expose or possibly play into than we know. And maybe that's Khabib's, showing that he's also a master of mental warfare, that he's not going to get broken, because he'll just come right back and talk trash with you. It's unusual to see a guy that you look at and you want to think of Fedor Emelianenko when he's not that guy, right? He's completely different, and he wants to talk some trash, and he can easily, I've seen him get caught, like Al Iaquinta caught him, and he it was like it was unbelievable to him. So there's a lot of pride there with Khabib, and if Conor catches him like that, it might turn into, Khabib relying on pride and coming after Conor, so we'll see. What do you guys think about Jon Jones coming back? Not the fact that he is coming back, because I think we all knew that was going to happen. but kind of the way in which they announced it. I'm a huge Jon Jones fan. Huge. Love Jon Jones. I think he's, without a doubt, the greatest of all time. I should connect my headphones. I should, huh? I don't want to go away from the screen. I'm afraid to go away from the screen. You know what? I might do that. I might connect my headphones to the screen really quick, guys. Give me 1 second. All right. Let's see if we can do this really quick. Real quick. Get this here. But yeah, so what I was talking about, I think it's interesting how Jon Jones is coming back to the UFC. One, because obviously, it makes you scratch your head on what USADA is here for. If in his second offense, Jon Jones comes back in 15 months, whereas you have other guys in their first offense being able to sit out for years because USADA pops them for Adderall or some other, smaller medication that the guys actually need. I don't know if it's going to be able to connect because it's connecting to my phone. Let's see. All right, let's see if it works this time. But yeah, because Jon is been out of the game now for about 2 years or close to, 15 months, and just comes back. USADA decides he's eligible now. He's coming back. So I don't know how ethical it is. I don't know if USADA has. I don't think this is going to work, unfortunately. Yeah, I don't know how ethical it is. I don't know if USADA has vested interest in guys coming back or what the UFC is doing to include them into the format. But yeah, I don't know. And another thing that was interesting was Jon Jones. So part of the reason he was back so early, at least this is what I read in an interview, was because he had basically become an informant for USADA and told on some of his other fighters. It's not cool. It's definitely not cool. And now, obviously, you want to clean up the sport, and USADA is there to clean up the sport, and not having guys take PEDs is always a good thing. But when one of your own is willing to give up, and I don't know if this was his team that he was finding out about. I don't know if this was other fighters that he had prior knowledge of. But when you're a part of I don't want to say a union because they haven't unionized, but a part of a group, and you go and sell out the rest of your group for stuff that we don't even know that, the stuff that he told USADA was even, massive PED stuff. It could have been something where guys were taking Adderall, or were taking stuff for psoriasis, which is really big in the MMA community. Like stuff to get rid of that stuff that's maybe is not on the list of things that is approved by USADA. But Jon basically ratted on the guys. And I don't know how cool that is. And I'm a huge Jon Jones fan, and I love that he's back, and I think he's the greatest fighter of all time. But as a person, you mess up once. You hit a pregnant lady in her car. You mess up a second time, get popped taking cocaine, then PEDs, then another PEDs. Is like, how much as a person can you stay a fan of Jon Jones as a person until he shows that he can be what a champion is. And that doesn't mean that he's smiling and kissing babies, but it means that he's doing the things that he needs to do to stay in the cage and fight. Right? And it means that there's a code of honor that you have between fellow fighters that I don't know. I'm not there, so I don't want to say that he was wrong or right to do it, but it just seems to me like if you're the one that's on trial, you're responsible for your own actions. I don't know. I don't like the fact that he gave up a lot of guys that could have been, even if they are doing something that's on the banned list of USADA. We've seen now that USADA is not always the most unbiased group there is. So, and Daniel Cormier talked about it. Daniel Cormier said, "Look, USADA, don't show up to my door anymore. I've passed 70 tests, 70 in 20 years. How many has Jon passed in the last 2 years? So I don't know if there's corruption there or what it is, but it's good to see Jon back. I had this wild theory, and maybe hey, look, the press conference hasn't started yet, so I could still be right technically, but I don't think I am. But who's Jon fight? Because I thought it would be DC on November 3rd, and it doesn't look like that's going to be the case. So Dana's saying early next year. He's saying sometime in February, March of next year. I don't know if oh, they're showing Matt Hughes on the screen. I think they're showing fighters from the old days and what they're doing now type stuff. Oh, it was the Hall of Fame. I don't know if Gustafson's the right matchup right now. I don't know if they give him somebody at heavyweight for him to show, okay, I got the winner of Brock and DC. That's what I would the 25 years in short they're doing. That's what I would do. I would give him somebody at heavyweight. I mean, you would think they would want to put him right into a title fight, but how? How do you do it? Because if Cormier hasn't fought by the end of the year, he's going to fight Brock in March. And he said after March, he's done. So if you want that third DC fight, you're going to have to figure something out in between that time, whether it's back at light heavyweight or if it's at heavyweight and Brock waits a little bit. I don't know. But we'll see. I'm afraid to go on my phone and see what's happening with this press conference because we're 30 minutes in and Conor's still not there, which could mean this thing goes an hour longer with no one there. All right, let me look and see if somebody else's live stream, see what's cracking here. Somebody else is getting okay. No one's here still. They're still waiting. See what. This card, by the way, I think it's just going to be Khabib and Conor during the press conference, but this card is something ridiculous. It's got so many big fights. So many big fights. All right. 5 minutes out from the press conference is what my sources my sources are telling me. 5 minutes. MMA podcaster / voice entertainer. I got sources now. So, that's all thanks to you guys. All my loyal group following / conversationalists. That's all you guys. So thank you. So what fights do we have on this card? We have Conor, Khabib. We have. Let's take a look. We have Conor, Khabib. We have Tony Ferguson, Anthony Pettis, Ovince St. Preux, Dominic Reyes, Derek Lewis, Alexander Volkov. Oh my God. This card is stacked. Sugar Sean O'Malley, Sergio Pettis, and Anthony Pettis on the same card. That's pretty cool, the two brothers. Scott Holtzman, Knoxville product, is on the card. Nice. They're showing Conor's press conference highlights. hopefully we can let go of the bus incident today. Not because it's we should desensitize it, because it was a terrible act, as Dana White, horrific act. But it's part of the story. It's just time to put a new chapter into that story, because right before the fight, we need something that we can hold on to for these next 2 weeks to give us kind of that last little bit of motivation we need to buy this. I'm motivated to buy it. I'm gonna buy it. I would buy it twice, just so I can have I might buy it twice so I can have a safety valve in case the first one messes up. That's how much I want to see this fight. But how's the presser been? Hasn't started yet, Mark. Hopefully in the next 5 minutes or so. We'll see. We're waiting on it. Conor is usually a little bit later to these things, and it's probably a game of cat and mouse where Conor's a little late, Khabib's trying to be a little later, and who's going to walk out first. You see that a lot in boxing. You don't really see it a lot with the UFC because they're pretty scheduled and everybody's usually on time. But Conor, being Conor, is decided when his time is valuable and when his time allows him to sit down in a press conference. So we'll see how long this kind of cat and mouse game goes. I guarantee you that's what's happening. Who do I favor winning? I don't know yet, man. I haven't made a pick yet. Because I go through it in my head, and there's so many scenarios that go back and forth, and it could be Khabib, and it could be Conor, and I'll say this. I think if within the first 3 or 4 minutes of the fight, we will know where Conor's skill level is. Like, we will know how much he's actually gotten better in his takedown defense. And from that, obviously I'm going to make a pick before that, but from that we will know how the fight will go. If Conor is able to defend not only one but a couple of these takedowns, I could very well see Khabib, getting frustrated, running in with that chin straight up like he does, and Conor putting the lights out. If Conor is unsuccessful and Khabib, throws him to the ground and is on top using ground and pound for a full round, Conor still has a shot, but it won't look good. You think Conor inside 3 or he will gas? I don't know if the cardio thing is such a big deal for Conor, man. I think that's become almost, and Chael Sonnen talked about this on his channel, I think that's become almost like hearsay at this point. Like, it's a part of Conor's past, and he's even admitted in the boxing realm that he didn't possess the right cardio for that fight. But I don't know if in an MMA fight that's necessarily the case. If Conor is just out of shape, or he can't go 5 rounds because of his explosive short twitch, fast twitch muscle fiber stuff. I don't know if I believe that. I think with the right conditioning, Conor can easily go 5. It's about the pace of the fight. Who gasses depends on whose pace takes over, because Khabib will come out and shoot 150 times if he has the energy to do so, which his pace is unbelievable and he doesn't stop. But Conor could also sit there and defend half of those and tire Khabib and then come forward. Since Conor hasn't been vocal or in the media as much, I think he's training hard. Of course, both guys are training hard. Both guys, I mean, if there's any sense of how hard guys train, these two are the top of the top of the top. Like, Khabib never stops training, ever. Conor basically has full-on fights in his training camp. This is per his coach, John Kavanaugh. So I don't know how these guys can train any harder. It's not, both guys will come prepared. It's just who implements their game plan better. That's all it's going to be, because it comes down to the style of the fight. Whose pace and game plan will take over, and who will wither under either the pressure or the lack of skill. How long until they come out? I know. I have no idea. It said, I again, sources. Can't name my sources. Said about 5 minutes till the press conference. So we'll see. I think this is a cat and mouse game. I think Conor and Khabib are both trying to play each other to see who comes out first. That's what I think this is. 5 minutes? Yeah. Oh, okay. Okay, I'm not going to spoil what I just saw. I'm not going to spoil it for you guys. I got sources, Kels. Don't worry about it. My source just told me something that I predicted, so we'll see. I mean, I didn't really predict it. It's kind of easy to predict, but five minutes, yeah. And I just got word of kind of what they're not out yet, but backstage I'm looking at Twitter and seeing what's going on backstage. If you don't want to get spoiled on what's kind of happening, they're both in the building. But if you don't want to spoil it for yourself, what's kind of happening so far, don't look at Twitter, because I kind of just did for myself. But it's okay. It's not really a spoiler because nothing's really happened. But UFC doing it right. Best versus best, and the right guy wins. I'm an OG boxing fan, 20-plus years, but sick of the politics. UFC. Yeah, Mark, I mean, Dana White was on ESPN this morning talking about that very thing. Not necessarily taking a shot at boxing, but basically saying, look, this is why you guys watch the UFC. We put the best fighters against the best. No matter, whatever weight division it is, however long the layoff is, the best will fight the best. And this is and he made a good point. The reason for that is because at any time in this sport, something can happen, right? Things can change on a dime's notice. Holly Holm kicks Ronda Rousey in the head, and all of a sudden, the greatest female fighter to ever live is not. Right? And so things happen. So if they were to bring Conor back for a tune-up fight, right, and give him somebody like Justin Gaethje, or give him somebody like Paul Felder, anybody like that, those guys are dangerous fellas, man. Anybody in that top 15 is dangerous. Now, granted, the top 3 or 4 or 5 are considered the best because they are the most consistent fighters winning fights. But you give him a guy like Justin Gaethje, and Justin Gaethje just is a zombie that walks through everything. Actually, that'd probably be a good matchup for Conor. He'd probably tune him up. But Paul Felder or James Vick, who's got reach on Conor, who is taller, lankier, what happens then? What happens if Conor loses that fight? Then the biggest fight in UFC history goes away, and you never get to see Khabib and Conor. And we're already possibly not going to be able to see Khabib and Tony. Hopefully that fight happens someday, because we've been dying for it for years. But here we go. Here we go. Only 2 chairs on stage. There goes my prediction out the window. Someone in the chat, let me know if you can hear the TV, because I can't do my headphones, unfortunately. If you can hear the TV, I'll turn it down. Conor got his belt on. Got his whiskey with him. Conor's got the... Damn, no one in the venue, so I guess that's no public. Conor's got the proper Irish 12 whiskey. Got both the belts. I called that shit. Both the belts. I told you. I knew he would come on stage doing that. I knew that. He's going to throw both those up there. What if he goes and grabs Khabib's belt, too? Gets all 3 of them. Here comes Khabib. Conor in a pink suit. Khabib in black. All black long sleeves. This is the first time, guys, that they've been in the room together. They've been backstage, chatted with each other, but as far as being in the room with each other, this is the first time we've ever seen this. Conor studying Khabib as he comes up. Khabib trying to set his belt up. It's not staying, but, we're figuring it out. Conor just looking over at him. Both guys. Just studying. Conor getting a good look. Khabib getting a good look. Khabib kind of smirks a little bit at him. Pretty subdued, honestly. That's pretty subdued for what we thought. We're good with the volume, right, guys? We're good? first question to Conor, they asked him if he was co-owning or trying to get co-ownership of the UFC. The first thing he brings up is that fans aren't in the arena. Conor calls him a rat. Said he's big in numbers. Dang, Conor exposing a lot of Russian tactics right now. Dang. Conor said he's taking him out in the name of the Russian people. Dang, man, Conor is definitely trying his best. Conor is definitely trying his best to get under Khabib's skin. Conor is fired up right now. Khabib stoic. This is what Khabib had to do to win this press conference, though. Conor is talking to him. Mike, without the mic, just chatting. And Khabib is just, he's there. Not really giving him any pause for concern. None of that. Now Conor's plugging his whiskey. I don't have any words, guys. I know you're in here to watch with me. Conor says he wants a cup for his whiskey so he can drink it, and if he finishes it, he doesn't know what he'll do. He is really plugging his whiskey right now. Oh, they got him some cups. Okay. Okay, they're going to ask Khabib a question. Finally. I'm not going to lie. This is different, man. This is It's tough without a crowd there for Conor to really implement what he likes. You know, no one's reacting. Conor's just up there kind of aggressively talking, and Khabib's just sitting there. Conor tries to give him a glass of whiskey. Dana's just trying to hold it together, man. Conor just shot his own whiskey. Conor's acting like a. I don't know if Conor came to this thing. I can't tell with Conor if this is part of like his stick or if he's just out of his mind. This is the thing though. Conor is Conor's nuts. I know. This fool is out of his mind today. It's like he goes from the extreme low to high, like serious to out of his mind, to confronting Khabib, to trying to toast him, to try to give him alcohol. Khabib, look, I'll say this: Khabib is doing exactly what he should be doing in this conference. Conor is definitely trying to sell this fight. Khabib is just sitting there though. You know, he's just letting Conor talk, and Conor's doing what he has to do. Right? He is going a little over the top, and it's a little weird, but he has to do this. He has to sell this fight. You can tell he doesn't want to be there, but he's living it up while he's there for sure. Doesn't look difficult for him. Now they're actually talking to each other. Sorry, guys. I'm just watching this happen. Khabib's asking Conor why he didn't send him a message to come and meet. Oh, Khabib might expose what he did to Artem right now. I don't know if you guys can hear this. Turn it down a little bit. Khabib is trying to explain or ask Conor why he didn't show up without people. Conor is saying, "I'm here now. We're gonna fight." So yeah, basically, oh geez, I almost hit my mic. Basically, Khabib is asking Conor why he didn't show up alone. Why didn't he send him a message to go and do these things alone? Why'd you show up with all these people? Conor says, "Look, you showed up with a bunch of people to hit Artem. I showed up with my people for revenge. I got there. I was standing in front of you. I showed my palms to show I had no weapons. You didn't come outside the bus, and obviously a lot of expletives with that. But nice little back and forth. Conor is so across the map. It's like it's hard to get down what exactly his kind of motivation is right now, or like what his game plan is for the mental warfare. Because it's not work at this point. Khabib looks like he's completely relaxed and comfortable. Now Khabib's coming after Conor. Tank Conor's trying to expose Khabib and what's going on. Do you think Conor is acting like this because he's scared? He seems like he's overdoing it. I think Conor's just out of his mind. I think we have no. I have no. Conor's mocking Khabib for not having any money left because the guy that was fueling Conor or Khabib's camp got locked up by Putin. Now Conor's plugging his whiskey again. I don't know, man. I have no idea if this is even what this even is at this point because Conor is so like I said, just his levels. If you watch the heartbeat and you see the levels like up and down and Conor's emotional kind of output is that right now. He's just all over the map. Sorry, I'm not talking more, guys. I just don't want to interrupt because they're going back and forth. Conor says, you pull out of the fight, you know what's going to happen to you back home. I don't know what that means. Khabib says he has a couple of questions for Conor. I don't know if Conor's drunk. He might be. He's got the Santa Claus puffy red cheeks. That might be a... His full set. I don't even... Conor... Yeah. Conor's wild, man. What the heck? This is tough, though, because usually there's fans at these things, and they feed into what Conor's saying, and they kind of overwhelm the other guy. Conor is not being able to live off that fandom right now and use it. But, I mean, it is still very entertaining from both guys. Khabib's doing a good job. Khabib said he's going to take him back to boxing. He can't wrestle. Conor said, let's wrestle right now. It's a good back and forth. And Khabib's, I wouldn't say, he's like, I don't know who's winning or losing this press conference at this point. I don't even know what this is. But Khabib's holding his own for sure. It does feel like Conor is a little bit over the top, though. It does feel like he is, for whatever reason, doing more. I don't know if he's more emotionally invested. And you see this from Conor a lot, too. A lot of people say, oh, Conor's not emotionally invested. He just is a straight killer, comes to the fight. Yeah, that's on fight night. On fight night, he finds a way to remove himself from all emotion. But leading up to fights, we saw it in the Eddie Alvarez fight. This dude picked up a chair and tried to throw it at Eddie Alvarez. Like, he gets him. I mean, he grabbed Jose's belt, grabbed Jose by the back of the neck, slapped Floyd's head. Like, he's very, he's very in tune with that emotion in the moment. But after the fact, when the fight happens, he finds a way to put that aside and just focus. Khabib said he's 26-0. He's never lost a round. Khabib says, what's this guy going to do October 6th? You think the whiskey's going to help him? That's pretty funny. Khabib says Conor always gives up. So when he gets tired, he gives up. So Khabib obviously calling out Conor for tapping and giving up quickly. Conor says he'll tap his head off the canvas. Said he tapped the bus more times than Conor's tapped the mat. Conor says his prediction for the fight's domination. Conor thinks he'll get it done in one, but he says as long as it takes. Conor flexing his verbal muscle right now. Calls Khabib a glass jaw. Says Dagestanians all have chicken jaws. Said his brother has one. Said he's gonna break the glass jaw. Khabib. They asked him if he has a prediction. He says no. Conor keeps saying assalamu alaikum, and you can tell it gets under Khabib's skin a little bit because it's actually Conor's disrespecting his religion, which is not cool, but Khabib has a good laugh about it. They're saying that Ali Aquenta was an easier fight, and he went the distance with Khabib, and Khabib saying, I don't think it was an easy fight for anyone. So, sorry again, guys. I'm sorry I'm not talking more. It's just, you know, I want to live stream this to give you guys context on what they're saying and what I believe to be kind of underlying there. But there's not much to read off this. Conor is being so erratic that it reminds me of 205. It reminds me of how he treated Eddie Alvarez. Khabib very stoic, barely even answering questions, and when he mostly talks to Conor, not even the press. They asked Khabib for a prediction, he just shook his head. So I'm not exactly sure how to read Khabib, if that's, again, him just being stoic and just waiting for the fight, or if that is him just not knowing what to say to anything. But Conor is just all over the map. He's aggressive, he's intimidating, then he's subdued, then he's promoting his whiskey. I don't know. Someone finally asked Dana a question. I knew this was coming. I want to see if they ask him about Jon Jones. This guy just asked if this was the original main event for 230. I think he means 223. Conor is staring Khabib down again while he doesn't have a question. Very fidgety Conor is, though. Khabib literally just sitting there. Hands on his face. Looks almost disheveled to even be there. It's like, but you can tell Conor's trying, man. He's trying to find any little hole he can in Khabib. I don't know if Conor's laughing at him or what that was. Conor giving respect to both Dustin Poirier and Nate Diaz. Both that was cool. Seeing respect from Conor. I mean, he does that a lot. He respects guys. It's just, who's in front of him, he's going to try to clown. And this one, when I said this is personal earlier, man, it has gotten personal. Conor bringing up Vladimir Putin. Conor bringing up Vladimir Putin sentencing one of Khabib's, I guess, biggest funders to jail. I don't know what, I'm not in tune on that. I'd love to know more about it. So this guy is going to ask Conor about the bus. Wow. It's a pretty big statement. Conor just said if that butt store would have opened, or if Khabib would have come out, he would be dead and Conor would be in a cell. So he thanks Jesus Christ that Khabib was fearful. That's a huge statement, man. That is. He basically just said he wanted to kill the guy. Like, literally kill him. Not like in figurative, I'm going to kill you terms. Like, I'm going to actually put you in the ground. Wow. This is more than personal now. This is tough. Khabib says the Conor bus incident showed Conor's weakness because he came with so many people. They're asking Khabib about the Conor post about his dad. Khabib kind of deflects and just says it's about October 6th. Wow. Wow. This is getting, yeah, man, this is getting very, very deep. Conor explains why he posted the picture about Khabib's dad. Khabib's dad says, I don't know what his dad teaches me, but my dad teaches, or I don't know what his dad teaches him, but my father teaches me respect. Conor says it's fake respect that your dad teaches you. They better keep these guys away from each other after the press conference. Please do not let this fight fall through because these two get at each other beforehand. Please, please, UFC, please don't do this. At this point, the press conference is basically with regards to what's happening. It's kind of getting repetitive because guys are just answering the same. So Khabib says he didn't want a picture with Khabib or with Putin like Conor got at the World Cup. Conor immediately accuses him of disrespecting his president. Conor says he's done. He wants to crack open his bottle. Khabib says, why are you speaking English if you're such an Irish homer? If you're such an Irish native son, speak your native tongue, and Conor did. Surprising. Wow. So, obviously, a part of Conor's deal to come back, which we all kind of were wondering about, Proper 12 Irish Whiskey is going to be a sponsor for the event of UFC 229. How did I not see that? How did I not see that? Haven't tried any Proper 12 Irish Whiskey. Maybe I got something coming for you guys next week. So now they're going to do the face-off. Oh, man. We'll recap this really quick because that was I don't even know how to describe that. It was insightful. It was entertaining. It was problematic. It was confusing. I didn't know how to read Conor, man. I didn't know what to think of all the level changes of his emotion, how he went from just skyrocket right out of the gate, coming in, double belts, doing the whole thing to, sitting down calmly, then asking for a cup for his whiskey, promoting his whiskey, then tearing into Khabib. Khabib kind of nonchalantly sitting there. They're going to do the face-off. I will continue my recap after this. They better have somebody other than Dana between these two guys. I cannot stand when they try to put Dana in between them for the face-off. I get it. You want pictures of the two fighters. I get that. I understand it. But, okay, Dana says, okay, this is what I'm talking about. This is what I wanted. So they're bringing the police on stage. I like this a lot. I like this. This is what I wanted. Make this fight look like it's between two legitimate badasses. That at any moment, these two could set it off. So he's getting all the photographers ready. Got the police on stage. Here comes Conor. Here comes Khabib. They're talking to each other. I think Conor just wants to get closer to him. Khabib's not moving. Conor gets right up in his face. Khabib doesn't move an inch. Conor's talking to him. He told Khabib to breathe. Khabib's manager says something to Conor and sets him off. Conor goes off on Khabib's manager. Well, that's it. I mean, so Conor said something to Khabib in the face-off. They're about this close to each other. Conor says something to him, and it sets off Khabib's manager. And Khabib's manager says something, and then that sets off Conor. So that had 373K on YouTube for the watching of the press conference, just on the UFC's YouTube. That's crazy. They probably had 1 million people watching this. The press conference, 1 million people watching, probably. At least 400,000 watching. That's nuts. So, what did we learn, man? What did we learn? I don't know. I don't know what to think. I don't know if that helped me. I don't know if that as far as like who I'm picking, I don't know if that showed any other dominance from one guy or the other. I think it's just two dudes ready to fight. I think Conor is just so fidgety and he's ready to get into that cage, which could be a bad thing. Could mean that Conor's too worked up, too invested, right? But we've seen this before with Conor. He gets really fidgety in these press conferences. He wants to put on a show. He wants to intimidate his opponent. In this case, promote his whiskey and sell the fight. And I think he did all those things except for the intimidation factor. I think that the intimidation factor from Khabib is non-existent. And you saw him very stoic on stage. He did ask Conor some questions, and things that Conor said did, elicit a response out of Khabib, but nothing just stood out to that it was a verbal just domination. Conor said what he said. Khabib, kind of shook him off and responded to some things. He even had some questions of his own. Khabib was actually kind of funny in the entire exchange. Like, Conor kept saying, Assalamu alaikum to one of the reporters that kept asking questions, and Khabib kept laughing because while Conor's trying to disrespect him, it's just funny because the way Conor's saying it, that because Khabib's obviously it's his religion, he's a Muslim, and it's just funny to hear kind of Khabib have a laugh at it. And Khabib was saying some saying some funny things about how why is Conor speak English? If he's Irish, speak your native tongue. And then Conor came back and spoke native Irish. I've never heard him do that. So Conor was drunk. Honestly, that was the first thing I thought of when I saw the rosy cheeks and I saw like Conor acting the way he was acting. But then I thought about it, and the last time he had a press conference, obviously he was more respectful in the Mayweather fight. But the last time he had a proper press conference, he was dogging out Eddie Alvarez the same way. The same way. With the mink coat on, and he came in late, and he almost threw a chair at him. So I don't even know what to think about any of that, man. It was wild for sure. Absolutely wild. But I need to marinate on it. I need to watch it again. I need to hear, because sometimes I was speaking over Conor and Khabib, trying to give you guys not just me looking like an idiot with my mouth wide open staring at the screen. But I need to go back because Conor said some things about Vladimir Putin, said some things about Khabib's father again, talking about how real Chechens know that Khabib's father shows fake respect. He shows respect out of fear. And at a moment's notice, if people turned their back, his father would stab him in the back, and it's fake fear, or it's fake respect, and they live out of fear. And Dagestanians, yeah, that was surprising that he actually spoke native Irish, not like South North Ireland, like an actual native one country Irish. They used to have their own language, and for Conor to be able to know it, pretty cool. I mean, it was just the one phrase, but he popped it right out like he knew it, so that was pretty impressive. But yeah, Conor said a lot. Khabib said a lot with not saying anything. Like, they asked for Khabib for a prediction. He just shook his head no. He didn't want to give a prediction. Conor said he believes it to be the first round, but he'll be ready for a 5-round war. Yeah, man, there was a lot to go off. Conor definitely was trying to elicit some kind of response out of Khabib. He was trying to goad him into playing the verbal game with him, and then trying to run him over. And I don't think he ran Khabib over. I think it was a good press conference. Yeah, that's tough. So Jay makes a good point, and I kind of touched on this. They did a press conference in Radio City Music Hall with no fans. The first thing Conor brought up when he walked into the venue, they asked him if he was going to be part of the promotion. He said, if I was, there'd be fans in this place. Why do you have me flying across the country, across the world to come and sit here in front of people that aren't our fans, that have to cover this story? They have to be here. We have to be here. We come here, we do this for the fans. You didn't even let them in the building. So, no, I didn't get what I wanted. So that was interesting. I think for Conor to really feed off the crowd is something that he does really well. I'm not saying he needs it, because he did well in this press conference, although he was completely all over the place, and I had no idea how to read him. But with fans in attendance, that place would have been absolutely nuts. I understand why they don't do it. Security reasons. Khabib fans, Conor fans, as volatile as those two fighters are toward each other, can you imagine how volatile the fans would be toward each other? So I understand it, but at the same time, I would have loved to seen some fans in there, because that would have been nutty. That would have been crazy. But yes, I'm going to go watch it back. I'm going to really dive into this, and we'll do an MMA Weekly on it next week to see kind of what, or maybe we'll do a car convo or some kind of short video to see what exactly went down, because we saw it and we listened and we heard, but were there things that we missed? Were there things that at first glance you didn't quite see, the Easter eggs, for who's going to win this fight, for who's mental warfare, mental game plan is going to take over, because there was definitely a lot from both sides. Mostly just reading Khabib physically, you could see he was very confident in where he was at, and he was very relaxed. He kept saying he was relaxed, but his body language absolutely said it would be relaxed. Or his body language showed he was relaxed. And Conor looked like a ball of fire, like ready to fight at the moment. Could have been drunk. I wouldn't put it past him. Could have absolutely been drunk, but could also just be Conor. You know, Conor is a wild dude. So all those things could have gone into play. It doesn't look like Jones is fighting at UFC 230, Jay says. What do you think the main event will be? Okay, so I was wrong. Jon Jones, DC, did not show up. As soon as I saw the setup, and I saw it on Twitter, that's why I kind of... Oh, sorry. That's kind of why I spoiled it for myself. I saw the setup on Twitter when I was looking for them to come on stage. There was only 2 chairs. The tables were this big. They weren't fitting Jon Jones and DC up there. Who do I think is going to main event 230? Now that Jon isn't going to main event, which he still could. You know, he still could do that, but I don't see that happening. I don't know, because Cyborg's main eventing 232. I don't know who's main eventing 231. You would have to think it has to be, you know, maybe Max Holloway, but I don't know if it'd have to be a title fight, right? If it's not a title fight, it has to be a big name fighter. It's like a George St. Pierre or somebody like that. It has to be. But if it's not going to be Jon Jones in DC or Jon Jones Gustafsson, I have no idea. I have to go and look, because I really was banking on them to, you know, either not even coming to the press conference, but announcing it. I was banking on that. So I was wrong. Yes, everybody can, you know, spam the L's in the chat. You know what I mean? Like, whatever. I was wrong. But this press conference is interesting, man. It was definitely a wild ride. I'm sweating just because I you know, one, my light's hot as hell, but it was just so bizarre to try to keep up with what was happening. And that's most Conor McGregor press conferences. If you remember back in 2005, a lot of people were calling, you know, what he was doing WWE, and, you know, there was a lot of shtick involved. And Conor's there to sell a product, well, 2 products, I guess, in this case, and to try to, you know, even on just like the smallest base level, get a feeling of where his opponent's mind is. All that stuff, all that bravado, all that stuff, when fight night comes, that will be shrunk down to nothing. Conor won't be extra. Conor won't be out of his mind talking crazy mad stuff. He'll talk, and he'll be, you know, himself in the fight, but it's all a gauge of how far he can get Khabib off of his center line, right? And I think Woodley and Colby definitely could. It would just have to depend on where Colby is with his nasal surgery. I know he said he's ready for it. And if they can get it done, that's a massive fight too, and we'll do reaction on that fight 100%. I would love to see that fight too. So yeah, definitely, absolutely. Woodley and Colby could probably be the front runner for the main event. Thank you, Chill. Appreciate that. But yeah, it's that was something else, man. And maybe, you know, maybe this is me. Oh, Woodley broke his thumb. Man, you guys, man, I appreciate you guys. So maybe not 230. Maybe early next year for those 2. Maybe the same card as Jon Jones and whoever he's going to fight. They put that on the same card with Tyron Woodley and Colby Covington. Super card, you know, opening up the year, possibly. But, you know, maybe I'm reading too much into the press conference. Maybe it was just Conor McGregor being a wild man like he is, and Khabib being who he is, and just, you know, they're not really talking a lot. But, you know, it's kind of indicative of this entire rivalry, right? Khabib kind of staying within himself. Conor making a point to go outside of himself, to expose, to retaliate, to, you know, explain, or whatever it is, to really kind of put forth the narrative that Khabib is the one in the wrong. And Khabib, you know, just saying exactly what it was. So there's so much there. I have no idea how to process it, but we will process it, and we will get back to you guys. Hopefully, I will have another video for you guys Sunday or Monday. Probably Monday, which you guys will like, because you guys, you know what I mean? You guys deserve more content, and I don't want to give away what we're doing, but I think you guys will like it. So thank you guys so much for coming in and sticking with me in the live chat. Probably going to be Holloway Ortega, maybe TJ Cejudo. Not sure, though. TJ Cejudo, they haven't even began to set that fight up. Like, at least Holloway Ortega was mentioned as the next, right? Like, Ortega is going to get that shot. I could definitely see Woodley Colby definitely as the main event, or Holloway Ortega. I think a little bit longer for TJ and Henry Cejudo, though, just because that's going to be, a little bit to get them to negotiate, and who's going to go to what weight class and all that stuff takes a little bit longer. But I do think that Woodley or Colby or Holloway Ortega. Holloway still, kind of in the dark with his medical stuff, so maybe not there either. But Woodley Colby would be definitely a fun fight. I definitely would watch that one. But anyway, thank you guys so much, man. I had a great time. That's the first kind of live stream we've done in a while that is a little bit over, an hour or so. So I got to get back into these because October 6th, we're going for 5 or 6 hours. We're starting at the Fight Pass card, and we're going to watch the entire thing. So I invite you guys to join me. Be on the lookout Monday. We got a new video coming in. Hit that like button if you guys like what we're doing. Subscribe if you're new. One more from Jay. It says, is Woodley Covington better than Diaz Poirier? Yes. And it's only because now Colby has built a following himself, right? Now, people in the MMA sphere know Poirier, but they don't know him like they know that Colby Covington's going to the president, the White House, sticking the belt in the desk in the Oval Office. Tyron Woodley, obviously, with TMZ, with Fox Sports, with UFC on Fox, and now, with his new rap song, all that stuff, he's starting to become mainstream. He's starting to find ways to get himself out into the public as well. So those two guys, bigger names, and Diaz, obviously, the biggest name out of those four, but Dustin Poirier not as well known. They're not going to be a main event. So I do think that Woodley and Covington bigger than Diaz and Poirier at this point. But anyway, thank you guys so much. Like I said, keep sticking with us here at the W.A.D.E Concept. We're back. The wheels are turning. We're getting going. I also have another YouTube page, guys. I know I'm plugging a lot. I have another YouTube page where we're going to be doing a lot of vlog. We're starting a vlog series. It's just my name, Wade Plemons. Go search it up. Hit that subscribe button. Hopefully new videos coming in the next week or so. And yeah, thank you guys so much. We will see you next time because you already know we are debating everything. Thank you guys. We'll see you later.